Hello, boys, girls, and those who sexually identify as a used fleshlight. I'm Mr. Dapperton. And today, we're not looking at actors who are anti-gun. Today, we're checking out actors that are pro-gun. Yeah, there's actually some pro-gun actors out there. Let's find out who they are. Let's start off this fine-ass video with a little Bruce Willis.
Whoa. What is this, a pirate gun?
It's old school.
Yeah?
Like you, right?
Right.
Get down! Down, down, down! Go, go, go!
Do you support additional gun control stuff like the assault weapons ban and things?
Okay, let me interject real quick. I'll make it snappy. 1997 was in the middle of the assault weapons ban, where we banned anything above a 10-round magazine capacity. We banned AR-15s, AK-47s. Since we brought back those things, since we got rid of that bill and brought back AK-47s, AR-15s, and 30-round magazines, the crime rate dropped 51%. It dropped 51%. These weapons save lives. They don't take them away. Now do your thing, Brucey.
Like that,
No, I think that you can't start to pick apart any of anything out of the Bill of Rights without thinking that it's all going to become undone. If you take one out or change one law, then why wouldn't they take all your rights away from you? So it's a difficult thing, and I really feel bad for those families. I'm a father, and it's just a tragedy. But I don't know how you legislate insanity. I don't know what you do about it. I don't even know how you begin to stop that.
I guess you've done this before.
Don't encourage him.
And action, please.
Come and get him!
The real life topic really is diminished by suggesting that anything in Hollywood caused the circumstances that just happened recently and happen anytime somebody goes a little off the rails or a lot off the rails. That is a totally different story. We're not making movies about people that have gone berserk or gone nuts. Those kind of movies wouldn't last very long at all. I've answered this question from time to time, but I don't think the one thing has to do with anything with the other. No one commits a crime because they saw a film. There's nothing to support that.
Iconic American hip-hop artist Ice-T was here in the studio. The self-styled godfather of gangster rap had come to talk about a new documentary he's made about the art of rapping, which will be running on tomorrow night's programme. But while he was here and news about the Denver shooting was coming in, I briefly took the opportunity to ask him about his own attitude towards guns. And I asked him why he's such a defender of the right to bear arms.
Well, I'd give up my gun when everybody else does.
And is that
Doesn't that make sense?
Well,
doesn't that make sense? I mean, if you were to, if there were guns here, would you want to be the only person without one?
And he's right. What the government wants to do is make it so everybody has guns, except you, the law-abiding citizen. You won't be able to get guns because they're highly restricted. But could the criminals still get guns? Hell yes, because there's 500 million guns on the market. In the black market now, because you made them illegal, and the people that had them legally sold them to the black market. So now the black market's flooded with cheap guns for criminals to buy. So criminals will be locked and loaded everywhere. And will the government still have guns? Yes. So who will have guns? Everybody except for you. That's what gun control does.
So do you carry guns routinely at home? I mean, you have a gun at home?
Yeah, it's legal in the United States. It's part of our Constitution. You know, the right to bear arms is because that's the last form of defense against tyranny. Not to hunt. It's to protect yourself from the police.
And do you see any link between that and these sorts of incidents?
No. Nah, not really. You know what I'm saying? If somebody wants to kill people, you know, they don't need a gun to do it.
Makes it easier though, doesn't it?
Not really. You can use you can strap explosives on your body. They do that all the time.
In Nice, France, 86 people were slaughtered by a truck. by one incident with one truck. Yes, that's more people murdered by truck than ever killed in one single incident with a gun. You think mass shootings are bad? Well, a maniac behind a truck is even worse.
So when there's the inevitable backlash of the anti-gun lobby as a result of this incident, as there always is.
Well, that's not going to change anything in
It's
the
not gonna
United
change
States.
anything.
No. The United States is based on guns. You know, like KRS says, you'll never have justice on stolen land. So it's not going to change.
Both in your acting career and I guess in your work as a police officer, you had to deal with lots of guns, and you...
What's this? Did I throw a little Steven Seagal in here? Yes, I did. And allow him to speak truth onto you.
You do seem to have a liking of sophisticated weaponry. You are here in Russia to promote a sniper rifle that will bear, as far as I understand, your own name. What attracts you in guns? Is it engineering? Is it the sense of power? Something else, maybe?
I mean, I believe in, the sport, the Olympics, shooting and Olympics, long-range shooting, all these things. But I also believe that every country has the right to defend their own country. Every man has the right to defend his own wife and children and home. And I also believe that right should triumph over evil. And so I don't have anything against guns, because guns in and of themselves don't kill people. People kill people. So gun is just like a plant or a tool, and you can either do good with it, which is to protect and nurture humanity and mankind, or destroy. And I'm here to nurture and protect people.
Now, I think your own country, the United States, has a very complicated relationship with guns, because on one hand, it's almost perceived as a symbol of freedom protected by the Second Amendment, but on the other hand, it also created specifically American form of violence, mass shootings in schools and universities. So I wonder, where do you stand on the issue of gun control in the United States?
Well, first of all, I believe in the Second Amendment and the Constitution more than anything in the world. And I think that Adolf Hitler, for example, when he wanted to annihilate the people of Germany, the first thing he did was take away their guns. And the rights to bear arms wasn't just to protect the people from foreign invaders, it was to protect them against evil governments and anyone that would violate their inherent rights as a human being. So I believe in the Second Amendment, and I believe that, I hate to say this, a lot of these mass murders and all this funny stuff that's going on, I believe a lot of this is engineered.
And yet in the aftermath of the, I think it was Newtown shooting, you were engaged in a Connecticut program, I think, to teach children in self-defense. Do you think those skills would be helpful if they were faced with somebody who was armed to the teeth?
Well, first of all, I wasn't teaching children to defend themselves. I was teaching what's called the posse, which are sworn officers to come in and defend schools. And so these are people that have had training with firearms. They have had police training. They're just not on my level, but they are, sworn.
They're not on my level. God damn it, he's so badass.
But you still thought that engagement was important, and that there's something has to be done about the gun situation within schools and universities.
The most precious gift we have from God is our children. Why can't we spend money and time to protect our schools and our children? They have armed guards at every bank, at every jewelry store. If you go around Champs-Élysées, you go around France and Monaco and Beverly Hills, there's all these armed guards everywhere protecting money and jewelry. Why can't we protect our children?
I don't know, that's a good question. I have to ask you this. Do you think Hollywood and in particular action movies are partially responsible for glorification of gun violence?
I don't.
No?
I think that, the more important thing we need to look at here is mental health, because there are mentally insane people in every country, and God knows we have our share in America. And I think this is the most important thing to learn there. I think statistically it's sort of proven that in Japan, for example, where they have the most violent movies on earth, and they have almost zero crime. What does that tell you? It's not really the movies as much as it's mental health issues and how these people can get help.
Okay, so he's going after the mentally ill, and I don't like that. The mentally ill only commit 3% of crime. Mentally ill people aren't committing the crimes that you think they are. Mentally ill are people like your sister, your mother, people in your family. The ADHD, bipolar disorder, that is the mentally ill. Asperger's is mentally ill. These people have the right to defend themselves like anybody else. They shouldn't lose constitutional rights just because they're sick. That is stupid. What you want to go after is people that are mentally unstable, people that have a history of violence. These people should lose rights. Now, it's true that people that have mental illness are 2 to 3% more likely to commit crime, but you have to understand that you shouldn't discriminate against them. Because look at it this way. Wouldn't it be bad if people discriminated against black people who are 5.5 times more likely to commit crime? 5 times more likely to commit crime. Not a couple percent. No, 5 times more likely. So if you're saying we should discriminate against the mentally ill, you're also saying, hey, we should discriminate against blacks. That's not fair. Neither is fair. Don't do either. But yeah, if somebody has a history of violence, take away their gun rights by all means, but don't go discriminating against every person with a mental illness, thinking that they're going to kill people when they're not. Even schizophrenics, not even 1% of them are killers. Not even 1%. So why should 100% lose gun rights? Also, there's like 6 types of schizophrenics. Most of them don't even hear voices or have hallucinations. Some of them are like disorganized schizophrenics, where it's just extreme ADHD. Why should those people lose gun rights? Just because of a little disorganization, they should lose gun rights? That's silly. The fact is, most schizophrenics are harmless. In fact, people that are on drugs are more dangerous than even the most severely mentally ill. By 3 times.
And it's also parenting. You know, if you have parents who love the children, spend time with their children, teach their children right from wrong, and they have real parenting, you won't see any of this.
And yet, if we look at the pure data, statistics of violence in the United States, and the access that kids have to guns, the amount of time they spent with their parents, it doesn't look pretty well.
Oh, woman, please. I guarantee you haven't even looked at the evidence. I guarantee you're like every other left-winger who thinks there's 91 deaths by gun violence a day, thinking that means murder. No, they use that word deaths by gun violence to fool you. It doesn't mean murder. Most of that's suicide. Like the vast majority of that's suicide. You cut out the suicide, there's only 32 gun homicides a day in America, and that includes self-defense killings. So even less than 32 gun homicides a day in America is freaking microscopic in a society that has 320 million people. It's microscopic. The gun debate is overblown. But Mr. Dapperton, CNN told me there was 500 million school shootings just this morning. Yeah, they include BB shootings as mass shootings. They include accidental discharges on campus or just in the general area as mass shootings, even if there's no death or no injury. And this is what they include as a school shooting sometimes. Somebody commits suicide on a street that runs through a school. That's a mass shooting according to them. And most of these mass shootings and school shootings, no one even dies. It's kind of funny, to a left-winger, there is no failed mass shooting. There isn't. That doesn't exist to them. Because if you try to kill somebody and you just injure a couple people and then you die because a law-abiding citizen killed you, well, guess what? That's still a mass shooting. Even if the person was killed before the mass shooting even started and there was no deaths, yeah, that's still a mass shooting. Let's say 4 guys break into your home and you shoot all 4 of them. That's a mass shooting, according to these statistics, because more than 4 got injured. Yes, they even include self-defense killings. It's freaking ridiculous. But Dapperton, they're technically mass shootings because that's the way they're defined. That may be the way they're defined, and you may technically be right. They're mass shootings because you made a freaking BB shooting a mass shooting. You made somebody committing suicide a mass shooting. You made an accidental discharge a mass shooting. Yeah, you made everything a mass shooting. So yeah, it may technically be a mass shooting because that's the way you defined it. But it's not as bad as people actually dying by a real mass shooter. So we're not going to pretend for a second that it is. By saying a BB shooting or an accidental discharge or a planned suicide is a mass shooting, all you're hurting is the people that go through real mass shootings, people that lose real loved ones. You're only hurting them by inflating the numbers like this. Look at it this way. They're one of the rare ones suffering from a real mass shooting in the last month. But then you bury it under 30 freaking fake mass shootings. Suddenly nobody even cares about their daughter or lost loved one anymore. That is bullshit. You guys suck for that.
To be honest with you, my opinion is that the economy is so bad in America and the common people are spending every waking moment just trying to survive, to the point where many of them feel like they really don't even have the luxury to spend time with their children.
Now, you know me, I saved the best for last. So let's watch it. Or rather, listen to it, because it wasn't filmed. This is freaking Kurt Russell. One of the baddest ass people to ever exist.
Everything else. It's a different vibe, you know.
I don't understand the concepts of conversation of the gun culture. We've lived with guns since, what, the 7th century or something?
Well,
I don't know.
We all know that right now, guns is a trope. It's it's not a trope, it's a totem, it's a metaphor that disenfranchised white guys need. It makes them feel good because they're being
You can say what you want. I don't agree with that. So it's not my thing.
But it's
so,
statistically...
Well, you can look. If you think gun control or something like that is going to change a terrorist point of view, I think you're like out of your mind. I think I think anybody is. I think it's absolutely insane. The problem we're having right now is that we don't have the concepts of how to turn it around and say, you may think you've got me worried about what you're going to do. Dude, you're about to find out what I'm going to do. And that's going to worry you a lot more. And that's what we need. That will change the concept of gun culture, as you call it, to something of reality, which is, if I'm a hockey team and I got a guy bearing down on me as a goaltender, I'm not concerned about what he's going to do. I'm going to make him concerned about what I'm going to do.
I guess Obama's point was that the guys who are on the no-fly list because of terrorist connections, can get a gun pretty easily.
They can also make a bomb pretty easily.
Yeah.
So what? They can also get knives and stab you. What are you going to do about that? They can get cars and run you over with them. What are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about that?
They didn't kill the people in San Bernardino.
But they've killed others that way. Haven't they? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are you going to do? Outlaw everything? That isn't the answer.
Just put some controls.
Put some controls. What? So the people who want to defend themselves can't?
No, not so you can't. Just so the idiots can't get a hold of them. That's
Do
all.
you really believe they're not going to? Are you serious about that?
Yeah,
are you seriously? What good will that? Oh my God! You and I just disagree.
Okay.
You and I just disagree. I understand that you think that you can control the behavior of people that are dead set on taking your way of life away from you. I think you can control that.
No, I didn't
and
say
there's only one thing you can do with that, and that's say, no, dude, that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen.
We're going to speak with you, man.
Good talking with you. Good luck with you, all right.
Close your eyes and clear your mind. Imagine Facebook, Patreon, and YouTube got drunk at a party, and quickly, before you know it, turned into a wild orgy. 9 months later, had a baby, and Funfair popped out. Ta-da! Well, ladies and germs, that's how Funfair was born. It's got all your favorite features from all your favorite platforms without all the bullshit censorship. There's also a random lottery system so you can get paid for watching videos, liking, and subscribing. If this sounds like the one and done platform for you, and it better, then please go fund it with your $1 or more donation on GoFundMe. Links and more information are in the description box. Go check it out now. Penis!